Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
I walked out of there with my new snare drum, seeing old friends, whistling away.
8 and 8, 88.
Good.
Two fat ladies. Yeah.
Really is two fat ladies. Speaking of fat ladies, there was I was coming down the stairs at Hillsey train station. There's these like steps. Go over a bridge, cut down the steps, saves you having to walk all the way around. And just at the bottom was just someone sat on the steps.
Yeah, they do that at Hillsey.
And they're sort of blocking the way. And an average sized human, it's not too bad. This was a big lady. It's only like a foot left, and then and she obviously, I don't know if you do this where you just make your steps slightly louder.
I usually scream, go, ah! And then they get out of the way.
And then she just angled her foot differently. Oh,
Amazing.
big difference. Yeah, thanks. Sit somewhere else.
Yeah, Hillsey train station is a scary sort of place at night.
I
was there once after being at your studio. I think my car broke or something. And I remember looking around going, there's always one dodgy geezer. Who is it? And I was wearing my leather jacket, big boots and stuff like that. And people were kind of giving quite a wide berth as they walked past me, going over the yellow line and then back in. And I went, I think it's me. I think I'm the I don't know, odd, scary looking dude.
The sketchy.
Yeah, but there's always one. And it always seems to be whenever I'm at Hillsey train station, it's forever to wait for a train. Do you know what I mean? You get there and it's like, train's in 28 minutes. And then it's just, there's nutters. And you're like, what do I do?
It's quite sort of dark.
Yeah, it is dark.
It's not a very well lit station.
No, it's
not manned.
No, it's not manned.
No, it's a free-for-all.
It is, yeah.
It's absolute borderlands. It's just anything could happen.
Yeah.
Anything.
Hillsey's quite an odd place. I just see it as a big industrial estate, to be honest.
I just see it as home of the old blacksmiths.
Yeah.
You know? And where I live. Not at the studio, I live somewhere else.
No.
Speaking of old blacksmiths, lovely T-shirt you got on there, George.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day. I realised most of the T-shirts I have were given to me or I've found or, I don't know, got for free. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was at work the other day in a Ben Howard shirt and I got that for free. And a Zildjian one that I think I got when I went to a drum taster day or something. And this one, I think you just gave this to me. So thanks for that. So my, outgoings on clothes is fairly low. Or shirts at least.
Well, I definitely went through
buy a suit.
A period of all my T-shirts were bands, but just Barry always gave us an Auction Thief T-shirt. Yeah. And we used to get quite a lot of merch. So I just had loads of Auction Thief T-shirts, a lot of studio T-shirts. And then when you're doing like gigs and you do like the tour swap, you swap your merch for a lot of Fruit of the Loom kicking about.
Yeah.
A lot of Fruit of the Loom.
Couldn't have said it better. What are we talking about today?
Well, George, I've only gone and bought a new snare drum, haven't I?
Amazing. And that's all I know. That's all.
That is all you know.
I don't know what
that is. All that you know. And I'm coming in hot with this boy. Coming in hot.
Like Paul Pot.
Like Paul Potts. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is he now?
I think he did all right, really, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nessun Dorma and all that.
Yeah.
He's probably not at the Carphone Warehouse.
No. Might have gone to EE now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I was perusing the Graham Russell website. Shout out Graham Russell. Because in my head, I want an aluminium snare drum. That's next on my list. Mm-hmm. And in number one on my target list is the BDC aluminium snare.
Yeah.
It's quite pricey. It would be the most I've dropped on a snare drum. Sure. But I was like, I was just having a look, And then I was on Reddit and someone said, I want to buy a new snare. I've got about a budget of $300.
Yeah.
And people were just sort of listening. Obviously, there's like Ludwig Acrylites and Supraphonics and things like that. And then one that came up quite a lot was the Pearl Sensitone snare. And I was like, I recognise the name, Sensitone. It turns out because I got some drum triggers at the blacksmiths that are a Sensitone snare.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, let's just go and have a look at one of these bad boys. A lot of people raving about them. Yeah. So I was like, let's look on Graham Russell. Filter, snare drums, Pearl. And there was I got the proper title up here. Pearl Sensitone limited edition steel snare drum in black, 14 by 5.5. Right? Check this out. £119.
That's quite cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it second hand? No. It's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, And then on Graham Russell's website, there was a little video of one of the staff sort of playing it, different tunings, different dampeners. I was like, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, like for 120 quid. And I haven't got a steel snare drum. I've got brass, sure. Plenty of wood.
Yeah.
But no steel. So then I Googled it, and I found a Swedish drummer doing like a review video a few years ago of that same snare drum. And it was like about 8 minutes long, and he sort of got a studio set up and he was playing it, different tunings, and just sort of talking through it. And it's like, again, it sounds really good. And this drummer's like, this is a really good snare drum. And I was like, must be a different one. Surely that's not 120 quid. And then I just Googled it again, and I was just trying to see, like, is there anywhere else available? Is there any reviews?
Yeah.
And it was like listed on GAC and Gear for Music and other places, Andertons, but they just didn't have it available. So I was like, well, I don't know what's going on here. But then I was intrigued.
Yeah. Well, you would be. 120 quid snare, that's good.
Yeah. So I was like, I got to go and try this bad boy out. So next morning, yesterday, popped down old G. Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on the pod.
And saw my pal Rob working there. Had a little chat, the pleasantries. And I said, look, I saw on the site, there's this Pearl Sensitone. And as soon as I said that, he went, yeah. He went, yeah, it's ridiculous for the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, what's the score of it? I said, because I found, I really liked like what it sounded like in the video, and this Swedish drummer, it sounded really good. I said, but I couldn't find anything else. He said, well, it's a limited edition one. And a few years ago when the Pearl rep came, he said, we got 150 of these Pearl Sensitone limited editions. Graham, how many do you want? And Graham went, I'll have all 150.
Yeah.
So he just bought them all.
Yeah.
And Rob was like, we got 10 left.
Wow.
And he's like, even Rob was like, yeah, this is a ridiculous snare drum for the price.
My God.
So then they got one set up for me, and the staff played it, and then I played it, and I was like, it's a absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
Absolute no-brainer. So I bought it.
Wow.
And George, I highly recommend if you want a different snare.
Yeah, just get that.
Just go and get it. Honestly, just get it. There's not many left, and it's limited.
Yeah.
Like, just get it. Pop
Next
an HD
Thursday.
dry on.
I'll come down next Thursday. If they still have 9 left before our gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really good. Just
That's
a really good
insane.
snare. So I haven't replaced the bottom skin yet, but I bought an HD dry Evans to pop on top. And I asked them, like, you know, obviously got to replace the top snare skin at least, you know. But it was like, what should I go for? And I thought, you know what, I'm really used to the HD dry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to see how that sounds, and then see if I want to sort of tweak further. But I had a little play yesterday afternoon, and I was like, yeah, this just sounds really good.
Wow.
And so actually this afternoon, I got a gig tomorrow, so I had a bit of time. So actually I'm going to set my kit up this afternoon and just have a little blast with it.
That's amazing.
But yeah, like for 120 quid, it's insane.
Yeah.
So I'll get one, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just get one.
Yeah.
If you got the bit of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I'll do it next week when I come back.
Yeah.
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 Amazing. That's such a nice find.
Yeah. And but that was the thing. I was like, it's not reduced. It's not on sale. Like, it's not second hand. It's just,
No.
here you are. Here's a really good steel snare drum for 120
Do you reckon
quid.
even if they played it and then they were like, it's 300 quid, you'd still be like, yeah?
I think with that you could, I don't think you'd be shocked if that was 250.
Yeah.
I don't think over 300, but I think around the 250 mark, you'd go, yeah, that's a really good steel snare drum.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Funny,
essentially, it feels like it's half price.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The quality versus the price, you're like, that's like a 50-50 sort of split.
Yeah.
But if you just want something different in your collection,
yeah,
go get it.
Well, our friend James Gillingham, I saw he posted the other day, he bought a snare for under £100, and he made it sound really good. And I quite like that. I quite like, it's...
Well, I've done that before. Like, I got a Yamaha Rock Tour, just a little 3-piece, and I just saw it. I was looking for a new kit at the time. I was just about to go on do some shows of Auction Thief, and it was like, I want just a 22 kick, a 12 top, and a 16 floor. That's all I need. I had everything else, just something new. And I saw on Graham Russell's second ad, a Yamaha Rock Tour, nice sort of green burst natural wood finish, £250. And I was like, it's a Yamaha kit. Yamaha are good, even their sort of budget. Like the Stage Customs are still even considered like a really decent sort of mid-tier level kit. And I saw it and I was like, £250. I bet, not to blow my own trombone, but like I'm pretty good at skinning and tuning kits.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I can make that sound really good. The EMAD 2, the duck down feather pillow, G2's top and bottom, O-rings, bit of tuning. And I was like, and I went and got it, £250. Sounded, we still use it for recording at the studio to this day.
Yeah.
And it was £250.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And it's just absolute solid. It sounds really good. And that can happen. You can get there are these little gems out there.
Yeah.
That are like kind of average price, but played well and tuned right and skinned right.
Brilliant.
So,
well, I'll take
snare drum number 6 in the collection.
Yeah, I'll take a trip to G Russ next Thursday because it's about damn time.
I think because you mentioned about you wanted to mix up your snare, didn't you? And
I do.
And honestly, just
do that.
£120. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not really any money, is it?
It's basically free.
It's basically free.
To people like me and you.
Us ballers. Awesome.
Also, so while I was there, see, I know a few of the staff down there now, and there was this guy walking around, tall guy with a beard, with another staff member, and he kind of looks like someone I know. But sometimes I see drummers there from bands who maybe rehearse at the studio or recorded, and I saw this guy and I thought, do I know him? No, I don't think I know him. And then I was at the till, chatting away, and he was sort of the other side, around the sort of semicircle till, and he was buying a lot of skins and stuff. And then the guy serving him said, "Oh, Neil, what's your last name?" And he said, "Oh, it's Blandford."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, "Neil?" And he looked at me and he went, "Winty?" And me and Neil used to play in Hampshire County Youth Brass Band together.
Wow.
He was a percussionist. I obviously played trombone. I've not seen him for 20 years.
Wow.
And we bumped into each other at the drum shop and had a lovely embrace.
Yeah.
And actually, when we were in that final year of county band, we were meant to go. We went sort of like on a foreign trip every 2 years.
Yeah.
And the end of what would have been my last year had a 3-week trip to New Zealand and Australia planned. But in the end, it didn't happen. Unfortunately, our conductor got cancer and actually passed away. And so the council were unable to sort of make this trip happen. So in lieu of that, me and Neil and Paulie B and another guy, Simon, we went to Corfu for a week and got fucked up. And it's literally been 20 years since we went to Corfu.
Wow.
And so just even, saying to Neil yesterday, like, oh, it's 20 years since we went to Corfu. We were like, fucking hell, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like it was, from birth to Corfu was less time than Corfu to now. And then he sort of, we had a quick chat about what we're up to, and he said, he could see I was sort of friendly with the staff, and he said, you probably see quite a lot of people here if you've got a studio and stuff. And at that moment, Bertie walked in,
Can we explain who Bertie is?
So Bertie is another drummer who has been a long-standing drummer for Tailored for our agency.
Yeah.
A phenomenal drummer.
Mm.
And a really shit-hot pop music producer.
And also, like, blind, right?
Yeah, he has quite a severe visual impairment.
Mm.
But like Spider-Man, he's heightened his other senses.
Yeah.
No, Daredevil, probably more like Daredevil, isn't it? But I'm pretty sure I think he won like Mapex's Young Drummer of the Year when he was like 16 or something. And he's had some pretty high profile pop productions, and like he has like a manager, and he goes all over and writes songs with people, and he even, I think, casually just dropped into the conversation, not bragging, he wasn't, but we were talking about just drums and things, and he said like, I had to do a session for one of the guys from One Direction, and he was like, and they made me just completely down tune my snare drum because they were like, we're just going to replace it with a sample anyway. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
And I thought about it on the spot, and it was like, it says there's just essentially no snare overtones in any of the other mics, so it's just much easier to sort of replace with a sample.
Yeah.
And he also said he did one session, they were like, we talked about like doing cymbals separately, and he said once he had to do the hi-hat separately.
Yeah.
When recording.
Yeah.
He went, well, that was weird.
Yeah. I've heard about that. Like, play pillows or something instead, so you're hitting something, or maybe just...
Yeah, I think with that, he was like, can you just do the hi-hat? I think there's like other people who will, like, I think Dave Grohl for Queens of the Stone Age had like, if he was recording the kick and snare and toms, he had electric cymbal pads, so you could still hear the cymbals, and then vice versa, you had electronic kit and then real cymbals. But yeah, I said to Bertie, do you want to come on the podcast? He was like, yeah. So hopefully we'll sort that out. But
yeah, definitely.
And then a guy walked in who rehearses at the Blacksmiths. It was just a lovely morning.
Yeah, sounds it.
And I walked out of there with my new snare drum, seeing old friends, whistling away. You went to GAC.
Well, I've been buying some stuff.
Yeah, he's been I've been buying care home cash.
I've been buying the stuff that just keeps the kit going. You know what I mean? Bought new drum heads the other day. Snare.
What'd you go for? Did you mix it up, or did you go for the same?
I got the same. So I got the G2s on the toms, and then what is it? What's the one I got last time? Shall I look? It's literally right there. I think it's hang on.
On what, the snare?
Of course it is. It's the Remo Ambassador on the snare. And a pair of sticks. It was like 80 something quid, and I was like, that's gone up. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really look.
What was that? 2 toms, snare and sticks.
Yeah. Feels like that's more expensive.
I mean, you're only £39 off a new snare drum.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when consider that.
And then I bought the next week 3 drum cases, which is more than that new snare drum. So
right. So recently you got a new kick case.
Yes.
Which was a protection racket.
Yeah, and I've followed suit with snare, low tom, and high tom, just because my cases are so shit. They're just
they're like carrier bags.
And
they're like, you know,
floppy.
those like when you go to the gym, I don't know that feeling, but and you have those like old Umbro holdalls that you'd get from from Sports Direct.
Yeah.
From like the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And it's just really there's no structural integrity
at
all.
Yeah.
It absolutely caves in like a sack of shit when you put it down. Those are your cases.
They are. And did you know what? Once on the way to a gig, Elliot, bless him, he didn't throw my drum into the van, but it was a forceful placement, let's put it that way. He threw it. And there's a little dent on one of the like the underside of the snare. And part of me was like, there's a dent now. Elliot, if you're listening, I forgive you. But I was like, well, it's probably my fault Do you know what I mean? For putting the drums in little carrier bags. So, yeah, I got protection racket cases. This is going to sound stupid, but I'll put it out there. Not 100% sure if I've got the right size for the low tom.
Okay.
Because I've got the correct circumference, 16 inches, but there was 16 by
Diameter.
14. Yeah. Or 16 by 16.
That would be a nightmare if drum sizes were done in circumference. What size is this drum? And you've got to get a bit of string out.
Yeah, it's true.
But the depth, you're worried about the depth.
Worried about the depth because I didn't fully know clearly what depth my kick drum was, because I thought it was 22 by 18, and then the guy was like, nah, it's a 22 by 16. I was like, is it really? He's like, yeah, you measure from this bit to this bit, and then he put it in the case, and I was like, oh yeah. So basically,
were you including the rim?
So what
the hoop?
It seems like you do hoop to like the other hoop, but don't include the other hoop. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still not 100%. So I bought a 16 by 14, but I might drive to GAC and then get them in the car and just see if it fits. And if it fits, it's fine. But if it doesn't, because I was measuring the drums, going, am I being thick? Like, because some of the snare would be like, okay, that is clearly 14 by 6.5. But then the tom, I'd be like, well, is it 12 by 9 or is it 12 by something else? So I might have bought three cases that fit, or might not.
The thing, I bought a protection racket snare case for that little Pearl modern utility snare drum. I think it's like 13 by 7 or 12 by 7. And I bought the case, and on the protection racket side, it has that exact measurement.
Yeah.
But for me, it's still a bit slack.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with hard cases, the height doesn't matter.
No.
Because you just adjust the straps. Whereas obviously pro racket ones are a fixed sort of depth. So,
well, that's what I mean. So we'll see. I might have new cases.
There's always a little bit of wriggle room.
Well, this is what I thought, but but all ready for a gig tomorrow, and I'm wearing a suit on a gig tomorrow.
Why?
Good question. It's 80s Hi-Fi, who I played with last night, and gig was good. It got very lively during You Spin Me Round. And I got a jam block. I've started. Do you know? I think they're called a jam block. It's kind of like a cowbell, but it's not. It's like a plastic cowbell.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what it's called. And I think I got one ages ago.
I just instantly thought of jam, but like a block of
jam.
A block of jam.
Someone's frozen isn't
that jelly?
Yeah. No.
And I thought, has he got cheese muddled up there? Block of cheese, block of jam. So is he snacking during gigs? Is this the new? Have
you had breakfast yet? Have you got food?
Yeah, I have. I'm back on the bran flakes, and everything is running smoothly.
Good. No, so I used a jam block on a gig the other night with Wildwood Sky, just for fun. There was no plan of when to use it, but it just, just for a laugh, because it is funny. It is, little.
Yeah.
And but last night I used it on You Spin Me Round, and it was hilarious. It just
the last bit of the outro of Mr. Brightside at the end of the night, instead of rocking out on the crash, just switch to that and give it a real
just
end it on a downer.
Yes. Exactly. But anyway, the gig on Saturday is it's like a ticketed event. It's it's more than just a pub gig. So I think we're all wearing suits, but
it's an event to keep the riffraff out.
Yeah, but also I've seen that venue, and you can't see the drummer at all the whole time. It's weird. I've seen Dean play there with that band, and it's annoying. So I said, shall I wear a suit? And they went, you can be nude if you want, mate. No one's going to see you. So that'll be
nude
fun.
It is.
Yeah, nude it is, yeah. But But I bought a suit for a wedding, and it's so nice, and it's not really pricey, but it's more than that snare. So I was like, I'm going to get some mileage out of this. I'm not wearing it just for a wedding in August. I'm going to wear it for some gigs. You know what I mean?
Well, then I don't understand why you're not wearing it now.
Well, that is a good question.
Next podcast, you're in the suit.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that whenever that is.
You only need to do top half.
Yeah, this is it. To be fair, I'll be honest, got in late last night, woke up about 9:30, and I was thinking, oh, fuck, I've got to get dressed for a Zoom call. Do you know what I mean? I was so close to being in...
You could be Billy Bollock naked under that t-shirt. Yeah. I can't see anything.
That's true. But I was like, could I just wear a dressing gown? But I was like, nah, that would be quite uncomfortable. But yeah, what else? Is there anything else? Drum dumpster?
Drum dumpster. Here we go.
What the hell is that? You got tossed into the right dumpster.
Right, George. Today, we are taking a trip to space.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, yeah. I don't know where we're going with that, but yeah.
Well, you've heard of moon gel, right?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Do you know who the company who makes moon gel are?
No.
They're called Artom.
Okay.
Right?
What? A-R Tom.
So, the letter R, Tom.
That's how my northern side of the family referred to my brother.
Tom.
Our Tom.
Our Tom. Up to no good. Anyway, these are, as I said, a trip to space. These are the black holes. Right? We've talked about mesh heads.
Yeah.
We've talked about you buy a mesh head, you've got to replace your drum skin. You put a mesh head on. Those are built for practicing, but if you wanted to use it in a gig environment to keep volume down, you're probably going to have to put triggers on. People are doing this. We want to do it, but we can't afford it.
Yeah.
D-Drum have made a hybrid kit that incorporates the triggers into a real acoustic kit with mesh heads. Now, Artom have come up with the black hole. Now, this is a mesh sort of head, but you don't have to take your skin off.
Yeah.
Kit. So, George, for me, picture a snare drum.
Yep.
Have you got it?
Yep.
I'm picturing my new one. Right? And then you get this Artom black hole, and you just put it on top of the snare drum, and it clips in onto the rim. So your skin is still there underneath, but then there's a little sort of I think a little sort of gap between the mesh head and your skin on the drum, and it has a tuning system, so you can adjust the tension. But then basically, you hit your drum as normal, but you've essentially got this mesh head in the way.
Yeah.
And so it reduces the volume, but it still sounds like your drum.
Yeah.
And apparently still gives you the same response and impact, feel as hitting your drum. I mean...
Well, that's the important thing, is the response. Because I remember when I was younger, and when I first got my drum kit, we bought these like silencing pads, and you've seen them. They're basically just a sheet
rubber dinner plate.
Yeah, rubber dinner plate. Yeah, and you put it
dinner
on the drums.
And
suddenly it's just I mean, it silences it, but my God, like it doesn't feel like a drum kit anymore. And I think two good things about this is, one, if you can make it feel like a kit, that's great. But also, you don't have to mess around with taking skins off.
So I'm thinking this, George. You have a set of Artom black holes with you when you turn up to a gig. And I'm like, it's a 90 dB sound limiter. Yeah. Cool. I'll just slap the black holes on.
Yep.
Still got my same kit. I don't have to do anything. There's one for the kick drum. They do all sort of the sizes. Just clip it on, play your drums.
Do they do them for cymbals as well? I can see a video where
he's got the Zildjian L80s in his video.
But no, they're great. That's such a good idea.
And I was having a goosey. They're not cheap. So I believe like a 14-inch one for your snare drum is around 85 quid. And I think you can get a pack kick, snare, 22 kick, 14 snare, 12 and 16 toms, comes in at sort of around, I think it was around like somewhere between 350 and 400 quid.
Yeah.
So it's not cheap, but be very interested to see, to try them.
Yeah.
And see, because then if you think like, I mean, that would be a lot simpler then, especially I'm thinking of sound limiter gigs, than having, you know, a kit with mesh heads and then triggers and running that system. But it's like, oh, it needs to be quieter. Just pop them on and have a set of L80s in your bag. There you go.
Yeah.
Quiet drum kit, but it's your real drum kit, and it's just quieter.
Yeah.
And feels the same, if not very similar. But what's just apparent, George, is so many companies are trying to address the issue of sound reduction.
Yeah.
With drums, because as you probably know, they're loud.
They are loud. I think also just the fact of, I think drummers often, like myself, go, well, I can't have my kit set up in my flat because that would be mental, so I'll have an electric kit. Whereas if this really silences it, like, not completely obviously, and you still get the sound, but I don't know, it could lead it to be like you could have your kit set up.
In my head, these Arton black holes would work in a detached house.
Yeah.
But in a flat, you'd probably need to go full mesh head.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
I do see what you mean. But no, they're very cool. I think my favourite thing is the fact you can just put them on and take them off, you know, rather than having the shells of a kit and going, right, I've got to change the mesh for normal.
Yeah, so you've either got to swap the heads out or just have another set of shells.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing a gig and you're not sure what this...
Yeah.
You know, we know sound limiters have such different responses.
Yeah.
That some sound limiters are like, Christ, that is so sensitive. Or some of them, fine.
Yeah.
So you're not like, I've got 2 kits with me or whatever. Yeah. This you can go, I just got a set of these.
Yeah.
Do I need to stick them on? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if I was going to go down a route to make playing with sound limiters a heck of a lot more comfortable, I think that's what I'd go for a set of Arton black holes and some Zildjian L80s.
I'd so much prefer that to taking my electric kit. Do you know what I mean? Any day.
Yeah.
Even though it's more stuff. My God. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And also...
just looks better as well.
It looks better.
Electric kits just don't look good.
No, they don't. And also just...
unless you get like a fucking $4,000 Roland.
Yeah.
That is like actual deep shells and stuff.
Yeah. Practicing as well, like just what I was saying about tension and stuff, like I don't know, it's weird when you practice on a practice pad and then practice on a real kit because it can feel wildly different. But if this, I don't know, say if you're practicing your rudiments on one of these and then you practice on a snare,
what I think? Yeah,
it could be better and easier change.
Do you know what I think I might do? I think I might buy one.
Do it.
But just get like the snare.
Yeah.
Just get one for the snare. Try it out. If it's shit, I'll send it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Like get somewhere with a returns policy. And that'd be very...
and then do a Drum and Drummer review.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. Let's bounce, mate.
Let's bounce.
Let's bounce. I sent you a little video on Instagram, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
2 things I love. Hamsters and spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
Little video of a hamster eating spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah, it's not a hamster spag bowl.
No,
that would be cruel.
Anything else, boy?
No, I think that's it. Trying to hone in on some guests, so get ready for that.
Yeah,
It's been a lot of us.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know.
It's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it's, you know, it's whatever. It's free. What do you want?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Fucking hours it takes me to do this shit.
Yeah, innit?
Yeah. Just a reminder, Archie Mack's new song's out tomorrow. On the 28th that I drummed on, called If I Died.
Nice.
Put a link to that.
Yeah, we'll do a post about that.
It's good. Maybe I think there's like quite a... can't remember actually whether it's that song or a song we've done more recently. But anyway, Neil's done a fantastic job with production and mixing, as always.
Yeah.
So go check that out, and we'll be back next week.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.